Do not adjust your tracking. You are now listening to the VHS Saturday podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of VHS Saturday, the show where we discuss the strange and unusual, odd and obscure VHS types that we obtain through thrift, gift, and grift. My name is Henry.
And I'm Allison.
And this week we are wrapping up Dawgust.
That's right, folks. It's the moment you've all been waiting for, where we crown the top dog of our VHS collection after a grueling month of reviewing nothing but dog movies.
Grueling is absolutely true, because fuck, man. I already didn't like dog movies, and now I've had to watch more within the last month than I have in like the last 6 years.
Yeah, we've covered nothing but dog movies. And it's been quite a journey. We've learned a lot. We've come a long way.
Have we?
Okay, maybe not. But today I was looking at our VHS collection and seeing all of the wonderful non-dog movies that we have. And I'm so excited to start talking about them again.
I would much rather watch Bob Man Golf than another dog movie. I'll watch Dorf Goes Fishing.
Yeah, we will. We'll get there. But for now, we have covered all the different subgenres and subgenres of dog movie. We've watched sports dogs, cop dogs, magical dogs, all different kinds of dogs. We didn't cover killer dogs.
But we did cover dead dogs, because that happens in every fucking dog movie, apparently.
Yeah. But just speaking of, like, killer dogs, we're not talking about Cujo. Sorry. Everyone wants us to.
I say we might talk about Cujo in October.
Yeah. We definitely have plans to cover some more spooky content for Henry's favorite month of the year.
The most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, we Friday the 13th was this month. We celebrated that together. I made Henry a little love coupon for a free horror movie date, because I don't really like horror movies, so he can force me to watch one with him. So that'll be fun.
I don't know if I should go easy on you and be like, yeah, let's watch Halloween. Or if I should be like, okay, let's watch something I don't even want to normally watch.
Like your fucking weird ass Japanese blood wrestling tape.
That's not even a horror movie. That's just some crazy, gory Japanese
disgusting
wrestling with
disgusting.
like weapons and shit.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tape Eater for that one.
Yeah, thanks, Tape Eater. And we were like doing acid. Like, what should we watch? And Henry's like, ooh, let's watch this. And whips out a fucking Japanese blood wrestling tape. And I was like, no, we should absolutely not watch that right now. So we watched Gem and the Holograms instead. And it was great.
It's something.
We watched All Dogs Go to Heaven too, with the
with the sound all fucked up, with only the surround
sound effects and the background music.
Yeah,
no dialogue.
Dialogue was turned off.
Yeah, and so we're kind of like, oh, should we fix it? And then we're just like, no, let's watch it like this.
This is like Fantasia.
Yeah, figure we might as well talk about it while we're wrapping up Dawgust, because that is a positive experience we've had with the dog movie.
Would you say it's a positive experience?
It was very positive. I had a good time, good memories watching that movie. It was good.
Yeah.
We didn't really cover any like animated dog movies, because there's also a whole bunch of those, and I mean,
we could have watched Plague Dogs, and that's a terrifying like animated film.
Or,
if you're not familiar with Plague Dogs, it's very similar to Watership Down, because it's from the same studio. And if you're not familiar with Watership Down, I advise you not to Google it.
Yeah, don't. God. So we covered mostly just like...
Oh, do you remember when we went to Goodwill and I found a copy of Watership Down on VHS? And I was like, I don't want to watch this, but I'm going to buy it to save some child from asking mommy, can I get the bunny tape? And then putting that fucking movie in and getting traumatized.
Doing the Lord's work. Yeah, traumatizing. Dog movies aren't the only animal movies that traumatized us growing up. with VHS. But I would say that the vast majority of dog movies that we covered for Dawgust, there were some pretty traumatizing moments in there.
Yeah?
So, of course, the whole point of Dawgust is we want to watch all of these dog movies and figure out who's the best dog? What's the best dog movie? But there's so many other elements to these movies and different themes that we noticed. So we thought we would discuss the best and the worst of all different aspects of these movies.
Before we break it down to what is the best dog movie. That way you don't have to sit through all these fucking dog movies. You can just watch the one we say.
All right. So the first topic is...
Well, first of all, I gotta also mention, losers of our Dawgust bracket are also eligible to win these other awards.
Mm-hmm.
They just can't win the top dog award.
That's right.
But these other ones, it's a possibility because maybe they had one good thing about them.
So, first topic, best and worst trope of the dog movies we reviewed.
Worst trope is hands down talking dogs.
Talking dogs.
Talking dogs.
Yeah, I think we only had one movie this month with a talking dog, and that was My Magic Dog.
Which did win that week, but that trope is still the worst fucking trope because that exists way outside of the movies we covered, and it's terrible.
Yeah, I think you have like two different kinds of talking dog movies, right? You have the ones where it's just a voiceover, and then you have the ones where they actually like animate the dog's mouth moving. I have to say that if I had a choice, I would absolutely prefer if the dog is going to talk, it's a voiceover because the animating the mouth is just so unnatural.
It's so uncanny valley. It's like their lips don't move like that.
Yeah. There's no way to do it that looks convincing or right because they don't do that.
Like it's like even Disney in their infinite money, not their infinite wisdom, their infinite money, it looks only like a step above Annoying Orange.
Yeah.
With the way it does.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Because there are some talking dog movies that I like. Like, I really like the Homeward Bound movies. Are they perfect? No, but I do enjoy watching them.
I like Look Who's Talking Now. Last time I saw it, like 20-something years ago.
Yeah. So that's the worst trope.
That's the worst trope for you?
There's so many bad tropes in these movies that, like, let's see, what's another one?
The dog always dying?
Yes. The dog trauma is just too much. I think it's unnecessary. It's like, man, like,
can we just love a dog? Like,
you know how, like, in like feminist film critique and stuff, they talk about how, what is it, like the wife in the freezer trope or something like that, where it's like, a common theme or like method used in like a lazily written movie is that like, oh, the girlfriend is kidnapped or the wife is dead. And so that's how the male protagonist has like motivations for revenge or whatever. That it's just kind of like just a lazy kind of trope. I think
are you saying Shigeru Miyamoto, when he created the Super Mario Brothers, was lazy?
Yes. Story-wise, yes.
That is fair.
Yeah. So, like, I feel like it's kind of the same thing with the dogs. And it's like we see in every single one of these fucking movies, something bad has to happen to the dog.
Like, there's
to pull at our heartstrings.
There's other ways of having conflict. We don't have to kill the dog.
Yeah, and a lot of the time there is conflict on top of that. So it's like, why even, like, why? I get sort of like My Magic Dog. It kind of makes sense.
It's literally the plot. It's like, because the alternative title for My Magic Dog is My Ghost Dog.
Yeah.
If you go into a movie calling My Ghost Dog, you know what's happening, right?
Right.
You know this dog is going to become a ghost. How does one become a ghost? You die.
That's right.
So
it's kind of like you can accept that the dog is going to die, and the dog dies early on, and that's what kicks off the plot,
Right.
or, you know? So that makes sense. Like, that has a purpose. But in all of these other movies, the dog getting hurt, or in the case of Air Bud, like being dropped off on a fucking island for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, that made no sense. He was like, fuck you, dog, go away. It's like, your mom let you keep him, and like, you destroyed the clown man's papers.
Yeah.
This dog's yours now, man.
So I would say, in terms of like, what movie did the worst trope the best, like My Magic Dog, definitely,
Yeah.
like, there was a purpose for that. The worst, though, like Air Bud, that was just, there was no reason why he had to dump that dog off on the island. Like,
Yeah.
there was no reason for that.
Right. It's like, we need to have, climax and then have some more rising action.
Yeah, because even in the Cop Dog movies, like when Jerry Lee got hurt and when Hooch got hurt, I guess that made sense because they were like on the job. They were doing
Not so much for
police
Hooch.
work.
Hooch shouldn't, like, it's like, why was this dog with you? Like, like, that dog should have just been like at your house, right? Because it's like, he's just watching the dog.
Yeah, that's true.
He was just watching the dog while the case was happening. Like, Jerry Lee, yeah, he's a cop dog. He was shot in the line of duty, busting bad guys, and then subverted. He is perfectly fine.
Right.
Like, you can expect that a cop dog might get shot. Part of the job.
That's right. Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I guess you're right. Like, Hooch wasn't involved in police work. He was really only significant because he witnessed the initial crime that got the police involved in the first place.
right.
So he was able to, like, I guess, track the villains
like,
kind of.
why didn't Tom Hanks, like, leave Hooch with, like, another veterinarian
Like that really nice blonde lady.
who said she didn't have room? But it's like, okay, you live in, like, it was in the Bay Area. It was the same place that fucking Canine took place.
Yeah.
It both took place in, like, the Bay Area. Listen, I don't know what it was like in 1989, but I am fairly positive that there was more than a singular doggy daycare in the entire Bay.
Yeah, like you couldn't find someone to watch him for just like a day.
Right? It's like, this dog didn't need to come with you. This dog is a witness. He needs to be protected, right?
Right. Witness protection
Like,
program.
Like, why are you bringing this dog around when he's not trained to be in these scenarios?
Yeah. Jerry Lee, I guess, like, it makes the most sense.
It makes the most sense.
Like, why he would get shot.
And it was also actually adorable when he was, like, in the recovery room and like he was like, Jim Belushi was like, it's Jim, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Jim Belushi was like bawling his eyes out, and like you could see that like Jerry was like, oh, tell me more about how much you fucking love me.
You know, I was reading after we recorded our episode, I was reading about it, and I guess that was not like staged or anything. Like, the dog was really just acting like that.
The dog could like perk up and
Yeah.
like duck its face back in.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
And so they were like, we're keeping this. That's amazing. And so, in my opinion, that just furthers how amazing Jerry Lee is. Like, what an incredible fucking dog.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, the dog getting hurt, that's an awful trope. I also I mean, just like I feel like I have to mention how much Home Alone ruined children's movies from that era, like the VHS era. I think that like Home Alone came out, and then it was like every single movie aimed at kids had to have this like it was like the two
bumbling bad guys.
yeah, the two idiot villains, and then like a bunch of traps. That it was like every single fucking movie had that. And so I remember in Soccer Dog, and then can't remember which Air Bud movie
It was a soccer Air Bud movie as well.
Yeah, the one with the raccoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like it was like every fucking movie, they just felt like they were obligated to have it just drives me crazy. Yeah. And so in Soccer Dog, when they started pulling that shit, I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Okay. Hello.
It's hot, like it's summer. We have the door open and
I live in a city, so there's people milling about.
Lots of interesting noises on the Seattle streets. But yeah, so those are some of the worst tropes, I think.
Which one was your worst trope? You just named like 5.
The worst one. The worst one is forced conflict. Any way they have to force conflict, especially in like an emotional way, to get the dog like to be hurt or sad or something, like that is my absolute least favorite trope.
Okay.
Favorite trope though? Like what's something that happened in dog movies that was a trope, but you kind of liked it?
That's really hard for me because I absolutely detest all these movies.
Yeah, I gotta admit, it's kind of hard for me too.
I would say when the dog is actually talented.
Yeah.
When they cast a talented dog.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we need a canine unit for this dog movie. Let's get a real canine unit dog. And so the dog actor, Coda, I think it was like his name was Coda for Canine, like who played Jerry Lee,
something like that.
Yeah. So like he excels in those scenarios because that's just training to him. As far as I think he just thinks it's training. They're running through these, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's that.
Dog.
And then the fact that Air Buddy was actually a trained dog to do all these sports. And so all the sports shots looked authentic because it was authentic.
He was actually like putting those balls in the basket. Like
we didn't have to fake it like we did in the volleyball Air Bud movie.
Right.
Where, God, that was terrible.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my favorite trope is when the dog is actually from that realm that they are portraying it in. I'm glad my magic dog didn't have a real one.
Oh my God.
But,
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. I think that it's like if you're going to show me a dog, at least show me a dog that can do something cool.
Right. If you're going to show me a dog, if you're going to show me a dog movie about a dog that can yo-yo, and that dog can actually yo-yo, I will overlook a lot of bad parts of this movie because that dog is actually doing a yo-yo.
Absolutely. And I think that says a lot about Air Bud, right?
Right.
That like, so much of it was just trash. That they had this gem. They had a talented dog that could do cool shit. And they just like padded that out with like melodramatic bullshit.
Still less melodrama than some other movies we had.
Yeah.
Which was actually about talented dogs, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
Like super, Daniel's super dogs. Those are real super dogs, but we saw them being super dogs for maybe 5 minutes in the entire movie.
Yeah.
And the rest was like Daniel being this fucking whiny little 12-year-old.
Just some like prepubescent bullshit. Like I don't want to be along on this ride,
Right.
Get me off now.
So there's that.
Yeah. All right. So next topic, villains. So who was the best villain and who was the worst?
Okay. I would say it's really hard for me to remember a lot of the villains, which makes them very forgettable. Like, I would say maybe the worst villain, because they were so forgettable, was in Top Dog. It was a bunch of neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
And like, that's the whole plot of the movie, but you constantly forget through the movie that they're fighting neo-Nazis.
But think about this, though. Like, at least the villains in that movie were neo-Nazis. Who the fuck were the villains in Turner and Hooch?
just drug dealers.
Just drug dealers.
I think.
Like, boring.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same bad guys that were in K9, but like K9 just handled that way better.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like sure we have boring drug dealers, but like I feel like when you're a like terrorist organization and we forget that they're a terrorist organization, it says like you're not being very good terrorists.
Yeah, true.
So there's that, I think. I don't know, like, who is the bad guy in Soccer Dog?
Damn, son, you got me there.
Was it, like... They're also forgettable.
Yeah, there are some really generic villains in these movies.
They tend to be, and they tend to be so fucking forgettable.
But then, on the opposite side of the spectrum, you have these, like, super hammy, over-the-top villains. Like, we have the Clown Man.
Yep.
From fucking Air Bud. And then we have, like, the crazy ant from My Magic Dog.
Right.
Like, who, an ant who wants inheritance money doesn't sound like a compelling villain, but it was just like the way that she fucking hammed it up so hard.
Yeah.
Makes it
memorable. It was interesting. It was amusing because you could tell she wasn't taking the role seriously.
Yeah.
You could tell that she was hamming up. She was aware she was hamming up. She was not overacting. So that makes it feel not bad.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I would, for like best villain, it's hard for me. I'm going to give it to the My Magic Dog ant.
I wanted to say the same thing because
like Clown Man is memorable, but like at the same time, he's just a drunk clown man.
Yeah. And he's not nice to the dog. Like, that rubs me the wrong way. But, like, the ant doesn't really, like, interact with the dog in any which way. Like, she just wants the money.
Because the dog's dead.
Yeah.
So.
But, like, but exactly, though, that it's like, the ant she has her motivations. She sticks to them. She's just very over the top in her performance. And that makes her, like, the most iconic.
Yeah, I think she's the most memorable. Like everybody else is very forgettable.
Right.
Which might make that the worst, but I just feel that like in Top Dog, the fact that we watched the movie and we're like, oh right, they're a neo-Nazi terrorist organization. Towards the end of the movie, like it's like when you have a bad guy that heavy and you forget it throughout the entire film until the climax. That says something versus, the bad guys are two dopey Harry and Marv knockoffs.
Right.
Well, okay, yeah, they're just forgettable, So that's where I draw that line.
So I guess while we're talking about the ant and My Magic Dog, we can talk about like I made a comparison to Cruella de Vil,
right?
Who is also a villain from a dog movie.
True.
And then there was a dog movie on VHS. There was the 1996 remake,
right, live
action of 101 Dalmatians with Glenn Close as Cruella de Vil, and she fucking killed it.
She did.
And it was
She did not kill the dogs, though.
No, mission accomplished. But, like, then there's also this, like, Cruella movie that just came out with Emma Stone playing Cruella de Vil.
Right.
And, like, it's a piece of shit.
Is it?
Yeah, it's really bad.
I didn't see it. You know what? The only thing I remember from the 1996 movie is the fact that, like, the dad, instead of being in music jingles, like radio jingles, he's a game developer.
Oh, yeah.
And he has this like really shitty game, and they're like playing with an N64 controller, and they're holding it wrong.
Yeah.
Like they're holding like a third-party N64 controller wrong, and that's like permanently etched into my brain.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm like fucking 8 years old watching this movie, and it's like this is the only thing you're gonna remember is how fucked up this scene is with the N64 controller.
Yeah, I watched one of my favorite YouTube channels, Your Movie Sucks, he rewatched the 101 Dalmatians remake from 1996 and the original cartoon before seeing Cruella, and did like a pretty deep dive in comparing all those movies. And however, Cruella did make a lot of money, so they've already confirmed that a sequel is going to happen.
It's a Disney movie.
Yeah. But I think it's
a
interesting
Disney movie and there's dogs.
because like live action remakes seem to be a relatively like new thing that Disney has been like cranking out hardcore. They did have a few back in the day, like back in this era, but nothing nearly as bad as the stuff they've been putting out in the last, 5-10 years. But yeah, I don't know, man. I always liked 101 Dalmatians. Next topic.
Wait. So the best villain was
The ant from My Magic Dog, yes.
Who do you think was the worst villain? Because I gave my opinion on worst villain.
I don't know. My gut feeling is to say Clown Man. I don't know,
Clown?
dude. I just don't like that guy.
He was very unlikable.
Yes.
So I will say that. Yeah, Clown. Everybody else was forgettable.
Right.
But Clown Man was very unlikable.
Yeah, you have to be particularly awful for me to like remember
like how bad it is.
Yeah.
And not because he was a bad actor. He was a fine actor.
He did okay.
Yeah. It was just Clown Man was a really, really unlikable character.
Mm-hmm.
So job well done, Air Bud writers.
Fuck, man.
All right. So now the next best boy.
The best boy.
We're looking for the best boy, but not the best boy.
That's right.
Right. We don't want stagehands.
And we're not talking about the goodest boy.
Right.
As in like the dog.
Right.
We'll get to that.
So,
because every single, like we've mentioned, every one of these movies is a boy and his dog story.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, we didn't even see like, a girl and her dog. It's a boy every
we saw
time.
a girl and her several dogs.
Yeah, but in a story about a boy literally titled Daniel and the Super Dogs.
That's true.
So,
Well, I mean,
that was the most girl that we got in any one of these movies.
Doesn't main character in Air Bud have a sister? Yeah. And
like a baby sister.
Is it a baby?
Yeah, she's
like
a baby.
little sister.
Yeah, but she like
in the
series,
sequels, yeah, she becomes and like some of the movies are more about her-ish.
She plays more of a part.
I thought like the volleyball one was kind of like her.
Yeah, but like the first few movies though definitely doesn't really play much of a role.
All the Air Bud movies are a blur.
Yeah.
We remember the first one, and the others are just like an amalgamation in my mind, at least.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's see. The worst boy. I guess we can count like Tom Hanks and Jim Belushi and Chuck Norris in this category. Yeah. They're not boys, but they are men with dogs. My least favorite. That's hard. They're so generic,
They tend to be.
They're all very much like self-insert protagonist material.
I think it's so like kids can be like, that's me and my dog.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. You see them have a little more personality in like the more adult-oriented dog movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, fucking Dooley is much different than Turner, even though they're both cop dogs, like in cop dog movies. I mean, there are cops in cop dog movies.
Right.
But they stand out from each other. But it's like, you want to ask me the difference between like Toby from My Magic Dog and like whatever the kid's name was from Air Bud?
See, I don't remember any of the main characters' names. They all just blend together.
They're just boy.
I just remember Daniel.
Because his name's in the title.
Yeah.
But like if it wasn't, we would just refer to him as like boy, like we did with the rest of the cast, like Asian and fat and girl.
Like, he was the only Asian in the entire movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And then they did have like the token black character as well, but you don't seem to remember her, so.
So, my vote for worst boy, I would say, okay, I hated Turner and Hooch,
Yeah.
but Tom Hanks did good.
Yeah,
Like,
he worked with what he had. He did all right.
And a lot of people like that movie.
Mhm.
And, like, you know, Turner's Turner, and Tom Hanks is a great actor. I went on a Tom Hanks deep dive recently.
Oh?
It was just the other day when we were talking about, like, I was like, who'd win in a fight? Tom Hanks or Tim Allen?
And we agreed Tim Allen would win.
Yeah, as much as I
Not
like Tom
necessarily
Hanks.
we want him to win, but we know, like, realistically he would win.
You're right. Tom Hanks also is, like, diabetic, so he does have things going against him.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would say worst boy might be, oh man, part of me wants to say Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris, huh? He is kind of a deadbeat.
In that movie, he's just kind of like, he's just some schlubby, you know, cop, lives in like a shack house.
Yeah.
And like, he didn't act very well in that movie. So there's that. But I also really hated Daniel.
Really? I think that Daniel was like, they really kind of like, they focused a lot on like how his mother's death was affecting him, and in a way that he didn't even really realize. Because I know that Daniel's a good kid, but he was just kind of acting out because of the stress. I think that movie actually did a good job realistically portraying that.
Yeah, because he wasn't even like acting out too hard either.
No.
He was just like doing things.
Yeah.
I know I did things, and as a preteen and as a teenager. So
Exactly. That's why I felt that, like, I honestly felt that Daniel was like the most realistic out of all of them.
Yes, I will say that Daniel is the most realistic.
I want to say my least favorite boy is the fucking boy from Air Bud. Because I absolutely cannot get over the fact that he just thought it was the best idea to dump that dog off on an island somewhere.
Yeah.
And that was best for him. Like, I can't think of anything that any of these other boys did that was nearly as reprehensible.
Like, did he take like, he took like a ferry, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where did he go? Like, I'm trying to think. Like,
It's like Vashon or
yeah,
something.
I'm like, did he go to Bainbridge?
Yeah.
Did he go to Vashon? Like, because that's local. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like, what island was he supposed to be going? Because he was what did it say on the Wikipedia? It was south of Seattle.
Yeah.
So like, you know, fuck, man.
Yeah. So fuck that shit. Because at least like the boy for My Magic Dog, like he like had his own hobbies and stuff. Like he was into magic and whatever. And like there wasn't anything about him that was particularly like bland or annoying, or like he was just a kid, whatever.
He stood up to the bullies.
Like he used the dog to his advantage to like do the right thing.
This kid tried to like fuck with. He just moved in. He's like, yeah, fuck you, dude.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that in a kid.
Yeah. I don't think that kid was bad at all.
No, yeah,
But like, I mean, the kid from Air Bud was just like a whiny, shitty, like he showed up to the basketball tryouts, but just like sat in the bleachers the whole time.
His dad died, and that's how Air Bud is about how he was being affected and acting out from his dad's death.
Yeah.
So,
but like, I don't know. He didn't have to be mean to the dog.
Yeah, no, that part I 100% get. I'm just talking about like when he went to like the basketball thing, because basketball was what he did with his dad.
Yeah.
So then he's like, he went to the tryout and he was like, fuck, this hurts too much to play basketball because it's reminding me of my deceased father.
Yeah.
So I get that. That doesn't give him a pass for his mom saying you can get the dog, and then him destroying the Clown Man's paperwork for the dog and possibly murdering Clown Man because he Clown Man went into the Puget Sound with his car.
He lived.
Clown Man lived, but boy ran away.
Mm-hmm.
For all he knew, he just murdered Clown Man.
Yeah.
Or maybe manslaughtered. I don't know.
Yeah, fuck that kid.
So,
he is my least favorite.
So even if he didn't care about murdering Clown Man, fact is, buddy, now there was no one trying to take your dog away.
Yeah.
If you know that Clown Man just went into the Puget fucking Sound in his truck, maybe, hopefully, not getting out, and your mom said you can keep Buddy, why did you go and try to ditch him? I don't get that whatsoever.
No, absolutely not.
So,
Worst boy.
I think, I'm going to go with whatever his name is from Air Bud.
Yeah.
He is worst boy.
Worst boy. Best boy, though?
Mm-hmm. Who do you think?
Let's see. I like Daniel. I like him. I think he's real. I think that, that movie was absolutely the most,
Daniel got
realistic.
Lassie killed, though. His acting out got Lassie killed.
Did Lassie die?
I'm pretty sure Lassie died, or at least got injured.
Lassie was hurt. I don't know if she died, but...
Either way, Lassie got hit by a Buick.
Yeah. But here's the thing, though, is
Border Collie. That's the...
I feel like...
You're like, what breed is that? It's fucking Lassie. It's a Border Collie. God, I just remember.
I will stand by the fact that I think Daniel and the Super Dogs is the most down-to-earth portrayal of, a boy and his dog out of all of these movies. Because there are so many dogs, it's not just focused on, one boy, one dog, like all the other movies are. It's more of, a boy is involved in this local dog culture in this small area in Canada.
So Daniel and the Super Dogs is the most realistic depiction of a preteen whose parents just died.
Yes.
In a small town in Quebec.
Yeah. And I respect that. Is the movie great? No, but I mean,
no,
it's real.
I will say it was the most realistic out of all of them. The movie was strangely compelling to watch.
Yeah, I have a really weird soft spot for it. I really do.
It's not a good movie, and it was annoying, and it was what? But then once it's all done, I've thought about this movie a lot. It's strangely compelling.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it's is it what is it about it that is so compelling? I think last week you made fun of me and you said it's only compelling because you have so many questions left unanswered about it. And I'm yeah, I mean, that's true. But also I'm thinking about the things that I don't have questions about.
You know what I think it might be?
What?
This was the least dog. Despite the title, Daniel and the Super Dogs.
It had the least amount of dogs?
It had the least amount of dogs. There was no buddy dog where he's he had his dog and his dog got taken away, and then he started training another dog, but then that dog got taken away, and he's just doing all kinds of things while working with dogs. It wasn't like this dog was magical whatsoever. None of the dogs were, despite being super dogs.
Son of a bitch.
It was about everything else. And
I think you're right. Because the focus of the movie is on Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
The Super Dogs
is
are
a setting. It's a setting.
It's just the setting to this story.
Yeah, the Super Dog Arena is where Daniel gets a part-time job, essentially.
Yeah, and so it's when we were reviewing the movie for the podcast through the lens of a dog movie and comparing it to all these other dog movies, it felt really out of place or lackluster. We were just there's barely any dogs in it. This sucks. But like now that we're kind of taking a step away and we're thinking about, you know what?
As a movie, not as a dog movie.
Like we actually don't really like dog movies. We don't really care for the dogs in these movies. So like, yeah, the
fact that the dog that in Daniel and the Super Dogs, the dogs are literally secondary.
Yeah.
They do not play a starring role whatsoever. Like, I don't remember the Borzoi's name. Wolfie? Wolf.
Wolfie's from Terminator 2.
Yes.
Wolfie's fine, honey.
Your step parents, your grandparents, your foster parents are dead. I love that one time I literally said something about Wolfie to you. This is like months ago. And you knew exactly where my brain was at.
Yeah, dude.
Allison and I both love Terminator.
Yes, I have a giant Sarah Connor tattoo on my ribs.
And I'm getting a Terminator piece on my leg.
Yeah.
So.
There was some antique shop downtown Tacoma that was selling like the
they've had that for at least 7 years now.
Yeah, like a life-size
T800.
And I saw it and I think they wanted like $4,000 for it or something.
I contemplated when I first saw it, but it is missing a few pieces.
Oh. Yeah, I saw that and I was like, holy shit. I want that so bad.
Yeah.
So fucking cool.
I would love like a T800 bust to go with my other movie memorabilia.
I know. It's so cool.
Or at least the hand.
There's this YouTube channel and literally like all it talks about is Terminator 2. Not even like Terminator as a franchise, like literally just Terminator 2. And they crank out so much content because you can just talk about that movie forever.
Terminator 1 and Terminator 2 should have been the end of it. They should have never done anything else.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But anyway, back to dogs.
Do we have to?
Canines are always part of the resistance in Terminator also.
That's true.
They're
German Shepherds too,
Yep, they are German Shepherds in Canine. That's why I said canine units. Like I was specifically thinking about German Shepherds. They are a key role in surviving.
Yeah.
Oh, today's actually when Skynet goes online.
No way.
Yeah, August 29th. Not this year, but
Yeah.
August 29th.
Damn. Well, shit.
So Daniel the Super Dogs has very little to do with dogs, which makes it a terrible dog movie, but actually might make it the best movie. Well, no, it's not the best movie out of the bunch.
I don't know. We'll get to it. So we're talking about boys.
Well, we know that Daniel Super Dogs isn't going to make the best movie because it did lose. It is in the losing bracket.
True.
But,
Could it be best of the worst?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
People hate when we tag our shit with that.
Yeah.
They hate it.
Yeah. It was relevant once.
Yeah.
So, we went over Best Boy, right? No, wait. We were going over Best Boy.
Do you think Daniel's the best boy? He's the realest boy, so it's like, does that make him the best? I don't know. Makes him the most memorable to me.
I'm gonna say Jim Belushi is the best boy. They had a real chemistry between Jim Belushi's character and Jerry Lee, and he was funny. I remember some quips from that movie, right?
I mean, hands down, K9 is the funniest movie that we watched out of all of these. And Jim Belushi, I never found him particularly hilarious, but oh my God, the writing in that movie is so funny.
He did a good job in that role. Yeah. And so Jim Belushi gets my vote for best boy.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that is perfectly valid. Daniel stands out the most to me as a boy.
Mm-hmm.
Like Boy and His Dog. When I think about that, it's he's I don't know, he felt real. He felt like someone you would know in your real life, whereas the other boys just were so generic. It was hard to place them in reality anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Fair. I would say Daniel was a close second.
Yeah.
So, but
Right.
I just enjoyed Jim Belushi as a character.
Yes, I did too, for sure. I don't want to like kiss up to that movie too much.
Right.
Like I really want to. I'm kind of suppressing that a little bit.
Right.
But I mean, while we're talking about it, dog.
Worst dog.
Worst dog. Hooch.
Yes. Hooch annoyed me. I don't get how people like this movie. You just have an annoying dog that just gets in the way and dies.
Hooch was literally the worst. Like, everything he did was like, because I think about, okay, if I owned every single one of these dogs, I put myself in those shoes where like, this dog is my dog.
Right.
Which dog would I be the least happy to own? Okay, if Hooch was my dog, the dog would destroy everything I've ever known and loved.
Yeah. If Hooch was my dog, he would be taken to Daniel over at the Super Dog Arena.
Absolutely.
And given,
right away.
Yeah.
Like, I would have that dog for one night. All of my shit would be destroyed, and I'd be like, you gotta go.
Right.
And I love animals.
Right.
Okay? It would take a lot for me to give up a pet, but like, that is
I dealt with some bad
unacceptable.
dogs, but that dog destroyed so much of Tom Hanks stuff in like a night, let alone a lifetime,
Yeah.
you know? So, yeah.
So
Hooch.
fuck Hooch. Worst dog. Worst dog.
Hooch is hands down the worst dog.
Doesn't get worse than that.
The soccer dog is kind of forgettable,
Yes.
but
Doesn't even play soccer.
yeah, he did.
Like,
Not really. Not really. No, that
with
was,
a CGI ball,
Yes.
maybe? No, like that.
he,
dog
well, I
is
think there was a
close
few
second,
times he did like jump for the ball, like
I guess.
yeah.
But like, I don't know.
But no,
dude.
Hooch was just that's a bad dog.
Bad, very bad dog.
Bad dog.
Bad. Smacks newspaper. Wow.
What, you clown man?
Yeah, fuck Hooch. I don't know, like, if we had to pick, because Hooch is like the obvious choice of like the worst dog.
I mean, it's literally the plot of the movie.
Yeah, like who's like the runner up though?
Runner up of can it be Air Bud from all the sequels?
No, I like Air Bud the dog. I like the dog in all the movies, even if he's not even doing the sports.
Okay.
I think he's a good dog.
Mm-hmm.
But like the soccer dog is really lame.
I don't hate the soccer dog. Like, he just wasn't memorable. But that was another movie where it was a little bit more melodrama. It wasn't so much of like boy and dog antics.
Yeah.
So like, we didn't see the dog doing too much besides playing soccer and a few minor other things.
I think because all the other dogs really have quite a lot of like personality. They're identifiable. They have skills. Or,
except
like,
for Super Dogs.
Yeah, there were so many dogs in that movie though. Like the Jack Russell Terrier from Daniel and the Super Dogs was like pretty fucking forgettable. But at least he had like a story arc.
He did, yeah.
But like, I don't know, what did Soccer Dog have?
A bandana, I think.
A bandana?
You think he had a bandana?
I don't know.
Fuck. I don't know. I want to say all the Air Bud sequel dogs.
Mm.
I want to say them because they were so forgettable, and they are so forgettable, but I will always remember the fucking close up of the paws to do a spike.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Because I was just
bad.
like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're saying Hooch is out of the running because he's such a bad dog?
Dude, I will confidently say Hooch is 100% the worst dog. There's no debating it. There's no arguing. There's no close second. It's like Hooch is undeniably the most hateable dog out of all the dogs we've talked about.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes. This is my most confident answer thus far.
Yeah.
Awful.
100%.
I think that like the I guess a subgenre we could have talked about is like the I like to call it the lovable mutt genre, whereas basically like a dog is a piece of shit,
Mhm.
but the owners put up with the shenanigans.
And
like
eventually the dog starts like magically learning to be trained.
yeah,
And
like,
it's like-
what was it? Was it
like
Beethoven?
yeah.
Yeah, Beethoven, which we have not talked about.
I think Beethoven might have like started that entire like genre.
I don't know. Turner and Hooch was before that.
Yeah, but Hooch never figured it out. He died.
Yeah.
Hooch never figured it out. Like, and then like Hooch's kid was also like trash.
And also Turner and Hooch wasn't a kid's movie.
It wasn't.
Beethoven was like definitely like a family films, which means
I
it's
want to
for
say Beethoven
children.
came out like maybe the next year. I know it was like before 1992.
Yeah. Yeah, lovable, mutt, genre, fucking John Hughes, how dare you. Same old shit. It's like, oh, the dog sucks, and the dog's really hard to deal with, but he's a dog, we love him.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dog movies like that. We didn't cover any of them, but so I can't be fucked to sit through that.
That's the worst genre.
Yeah, I saw Turner and Hooch, and I was like, that's enough. No more, please. But best dog, though. The best
Jerry
dog.
Lee.
Jerry
Lee.
Best motherfucking dog. I have to say that, like, the original Air Bud is, like...
Very close.
Very close.
But,
very
like...
close.
Like, the original Air Bud is very close because Buddy was a very skilled dog athlete.
Wait, well, hold on a second. What about... So, like, Jerry Lee in K9 was played by a couple different dogs.
Well, still, within the realm of the movie, the fantasy of the movie, I want to say Jerry Lee.
I loved Jerry Lee. If he was my dog, I would be so proud.
Oh, yes. Like, that was apparently a number of dogs played him, combined together in an amalgamation but though that transformer of a dog, that megazord of a dog,
the concept of Jerry Lee
is an amazing dog. That was a great dog. Those were great dog actors.
Yeah, but like Air Bud, like the original Air Bud, that was just that dog.
Yeah,
that was all him.
But we don't know how much of Jerry Lee was singular dog.
Yeah.
Because it said backups and stand-ins. So like long shots, other stuff like that. You know, Jerry Lee Kotan was in his trailer.
Yeah.
So it's like, we don't need him for this. We got it's a wide shot. Get his body double in here.
Life of luxury, that dog.
So like,
his short life.
You know.
Yeah.
That's why it sounds like, you know, backups. That's backups and stand-ins. That's what that is. Like, any of the actual acting, that was definitely like one dog.
Yeah. Very, very close tie between Air Bud and Jerry Lee. But like, man, I fucking love Jerry Lee.
To me, it goes to Jerry Lee because of the acting prowess that dog displayed. Mm-hmm. It emoted very well.
Yeah, Air Bud wasn't really like a good actor. He was very
talented.
He was very good at playing basketball.
And like
a lot like Michael Jordan. Very good at basketball, not so much at acting.
Valid.
Air Bud is the Michael Jordan.
Didn't they come out the same year?
I think Space Jam was 96.
No, well, one was 96, one was 97.
Air Bud was 97, I know that.
97, right.
So I thought Space Jam was 96.
August 1st, 1997. Oh, fuck, that's Dawgust.
Huh?
August 1st.
Yeah.
We should have done Sports Dog. Did we do Sports Dog first? Or did it cut?
Second.
Dang.
So
Space Jam was March
96.
1997. 96, March 96.
Mm-hmm.
Was it March?
I don't know. It was 1996, and Air Bud was 97, so...
November 96. Oh man, that's almost 97.
Mm-hmm.
That is late.
And then Air Bud used a lot of the same songs that were on the Space Jam soundtrack too.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird considering like Warner Brothers and Disney.
Yeah.
Huh.
But the Space Jam soundtrack was like, it went platinum like a million fucking times.
I mean, it's also just like a lot of jock jams. The only original song on there was Space Jam.
I think that, like, I can't speak off the top of my head, but I know that, like, it is one of the greatest soundtracks in movie history.
It is a great soundtrack. I'm saying like, that's why I'm saying, because it's a bunch of, like, great tracks that are all relevant towards the feeling of basketball. Like, I Believe I Can Fly.
Yeah.
So those would all be well suited for another movie about basketball.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's what I'm saying, like, because only one of those tracks was actually original to the soundtrack. So that means, like, the only track that, like, Air Bud wouldn't be able to use theoretically would be the Space Jam theme itself.
Yeah.
So, by the Quad City DJs, of course.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. I really like Buddy as a dog. I really like him. But, I mean, when it comes to the acting chops, like, he can play basketball, he can't really act, but Jerry Lee can act and be an incredible cop dog.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, 10 out of 10, A+.
Right.
He wins.
100% I agree.
So, we've covered many subgenres of dog movie, which technically makes them subgenres.
Or is it subgenres?
It goes deep. It goes deep.
Yeah, because like it's an action movie, and it's a dog movie, or is it an action movie, and then it's a cop movie, and then it's a dog movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. But of the ones that we've covered, which one do you feel you enjoyed the most?
Wait, are we talking about dogs now?
Subgenre.
Okay. I am not a fan of Magic Dog.
No.
I'm not a fan of the Magic Dog. Mm-hmm. I'm a computer nerd, and so I'm also not very interested in sports dogs.
Okay.
We watch more sports dogs than any other genre.
That's right. That definitely saturated the market. I mean, there's no comparison.
I mean, it was Air Bud that's like we thought it was more, but it's like, oh, Soccer Dog had 2 movies, and then Air Bud had like 7. But
I mean, shit, it's undeniable that there are just a lot more sport dog movies.
Right. And so that is also my least. That is also down there. Like, I don't care to watch a dog pretend to play sports. I don't care to watch humans play sports.
Right.
I don't care to watch humans that are really good at sports to play sports. I will watch a real dog play real sports because it's like, wow, that's interesting. I don't give a shit if you're going to be faking it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
sports dogs off the fucking table. Magic Dog off the table. That leaves Cop Dog. I like Cop Dog.
I like Cop Dog too.
Like, Cop Dog is definitely up there for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think also Cop Dogs are much more adult oriented than the other movies.
Yes, all the Cop Dog movies tended to be, even though the K-9 sequels were more children oriented, they were still more adult than the other ones. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. I have a weird soft spot for the sports dog movies. Like, I don't know, as lame as they are, I think it's interesting that they're their own little universe. And I don't know, seeing them try to make a dog play a sport that a dog could never feasibly play. I don't know, there's something just a little like charming about that to me. I would say my initial reaction is like, yeah, I liked the Cop Dog movies better because they felt more like movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Like anytime I watched an Air Bud movie, I'm like, I'm watching like a Disney Channel original movie.
This is clearly
like this is made for TV.
This is
like,
I'm not the audience for this.
Yeah, that is, and even if I try to put that aside, I don't know. Like
it's hard. It's hard to like
really
watch.
Corny.
Yeah,
and I felt that like the Cop Dog movies were more
like even something like Top Dog, which was like more children oriented than the other, K9 and all the sequels and stuff like that. Even that still felt more like a movie.
Yeah.
Than some of the other ones we watched.
Mm-hmm.
So
because at least they had like actors that we knew.
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah.
A lot of the other movies were just kind of like randos. So it was
this is true. It's like, that
so they felt more like movies.
It's like, oh, who's the actors in all the top Cop Dog movies? Oh, you got Tom Hanks, Jim Belushi, Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
Who's the main character in the sports dog movies?
Some fucking
guy.
Some fucking kid. Some Disney kid.
Yeah. So that's why Cop Dog takes the win by a mile in my eyes.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you on that. I do like sports dog movies, but
I like a sports dog movie.
Yeah, but they're really not great. So, I mean, can I really say they're the best? Maybe they're my runner-up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think what movie had the best soundtrack?
Oh, Air Bud.
I disagree.
Oh, what do you think?
Soccer Dog.
Soccer Dog, because of all the ska?
It's so fitting. That's so Soccer Dog, the soundtrack made it fun. It felt very 2000s. There was a lot of there was a lot of ska. There was a lot of pop punk. It felt very much like it fit the tone of the film where it's not taking itself so seriously, because that's the thing about Soccer Dog versus like Air Bud. It didn't take itself seriously. Like that's how come we had our Arlie Ermy ripoff for like the coach being like a drill sergeant. Mm-hmm. It wasn't supposed to be taken seriously versus Air Bud was. And so the ska soundtrack made it very fun. And yes, I do also enjoy ska.
You know what? Consider me convinced. I think you're right. I think that it did have a fun soundtrack.
That fits the tone of the film.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like Air Bud takes itself seriously, even the first one at least. The other ones start getting like the bumbling bad guys and stuff. It takes itself seriously as like a melodrama. And then like Soccer Dog was like, yeah, there's a serious story about this kid and being adopted and stuff, but here's the Aquabats. You got the Aquabats in there, so it takes a win in my eyes.
Yeah. If you wanted to ask me which of these movies had the worst soundtrack, I really don't think I could tell you.
It's all kind of just
yeah.
They all just kind of have like very generic scoring rather than like an actual soundtrack.
Right.
Worst soundtrack is so hard to say because like
I just don't even feel like I have the brain power to even give a shit enough to like want to quantify that.
Yeah. So everybody else loses, but
yeah.
Everybody loses, but the runner up is Air Bud with Soccer Dog taking a win in one category.
Yeah, right. Good job, Soccer Dog. You made it somehow. All right, so the denouement, the number one reason why we came here this week.
Well, this is my house. That's why I came here.
Stop. What is the best dog movie of all the movies we've reviewed?
We both have the same opinion in this, so let's just say it together. Ready? 3, 2, 1. K9.
K9 was the best I love this movie.
That movie was great.
I loved it. I want to watch it again. I've been dying to watch it again. I think the humor is fantastic. I think it's so well written. It's so funny.
I remember parts of that movie. I remember the plot of that movie. I remember character names in this movie.
Yeah.
Because it's a movie.
I thought it was really funny because Turner and Hooch was kind of like the first of its kind, right? It like didn't take itself too seriously,
Right.
which was good. It did have some serious moments, but Hooch was so unlikable and Turner was really just Tom Hanks. He didn't have anything like unique about him.
Oh, you know what else I just thought about?
What?
So I remember I said, who would win to fight Tom Hanks versus
Tim Allen. Yeah.
Tim Allen was in a dog movie also.
Yeah, the Shaggy Dog.
But that's way after the VHS period.
I think it was literally like the year VHS stopped. I think it was actually 2006.
Dang.
So Shaggy Dog just fell outside of our window, which I'm grateful for. Maybe it's on VHS. I don't know.
Oh, the old one is.
Oh, the old one is.
Because it was a remake.
Yeah. Yet another fucking Disney movie. And then there was the Shaggy DA. That was also, that looks cringe as fuck.
Yeah, so, oh God.
Literally, I want to say like one of the worst movie covers of all time. Like the Shaggy Dog cover is like they put Tim Allen's eyes on this dog and it looks
disturbing
so
as
unnatural.
fucking shit.
It's-
Oh my God.
It's really
That is what
really
my
hard to
sleep
look at.
paralysis demon looks like.
Yeah, that should not exist. Like the person who made and approved that, like they should be put in jail. That's offensive. I don't like looking at it. But yeah, Tim Allen was a dog in a movie as well. I personally haven't actually seen the movie. I know
Neither
that
have
it's a lot of people shit on it.
Yeah.
I know it's like one of those like easy to hate movies.
Raise the woof. That's the tagline.
Oh my
There's
God.
also his bite is worse than his bark.
God damn it. So fucking
I
stupid.
fucking hate it.
God.
Tim Allen is man's best friend. I would hate to be in the boardroom meeting when they're just having to come up with all these fucking like,
God, that's so cringe.
it's
God.
going to be a rough day.
Fuck me.
I like puns, but Jesus Christ, they were just thinking of every single dog pun they could, and like
Yeah.
we're gonna release all these posters and DVD
Like,
variants.
I work at a marketing company. I know how these things work. Like, you do sit in a conference room
Yeah.
around a table and you just spitball ideas and you go with the best one. And so, yeah, if your company is a team of people who have really shitty ideas, you get stuff like this. Where, like, I don't understand how a boardroom full of people sat at a table. That looks horrifying too.
Yeah, but that's the dog's real eyes.
Are they? It
Yeah.
looks taxidermied.
No, those dogs just have tiny ass eyes.
Jesus fuck.
Not that one. Like, because like, you know.
Wait a second. Was that VHS? Is that a hard shell VHS?
DVD.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, please God.
Yeah, these dogs just have
Ew.
tiny little eyes. Which is why that's why it's so disturbing to see Tom Hanks' eyes on it.
Yeah.
Because like
You mean Tim Allen.
yeah, Tim Allen's eyes on that dog, because we know subconsciously that breed of dog has these tiny beady eyes, and to see these human ass like
Ugh.
giant eyes on there
It's
is
like, have you ever seen, I was actually like at the store the other day buying cat food, and they didn't have the kind that my cat normally likes. So I was looking at all the other cat foods to see if there was like one that was comparable. And I did end up seeing the dog food section as well. And in the dog food section, they have these like dog treats where the cover has a dog, but the dog has like human teeth.
oh yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about?
yeah.
And I think that's kind of like in the same realm. It's very like uncanny valley to see a dog with like human teeth where they're like all the same length, and it's like why would you do that? Why can't you just show like a dog with a normal dog mouth? Like you can make the teeth look whiter or whatever. Like that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But like giving a human teeth, that's fucked. It's nowhere near as bad as giving a dog human eyes. That's horrifying. That should not exist.
And like, there's so many variants of it.
Mm-hmm. Like someone approved that. Not just one person either. That was like a team of people.
It's like
approved that.
It's because someone looked at the original like box art, poster art for the original movie from the 50s, and they saw that they put the glasses on the real dog. You're like, oh, we have the technology.
We can rebuild him. Wait, did Bob Iger approve that? Who was CEO at Disney at the time? I think that was Bob Iger. Did he approve that? Unbelievable. I fucking can't. Disgusting, awful, shouldn't exist, terrible, not part of our bracket, but easily the worst. I mean, look at that trailer. Look at how long his tongue is. That long CGI Tim Allen tongue. No, that's like Son of the Mask level. Like, awful. Absolutely disgusting.
So, what were we talking about? Sorry.
We were talking about the best and worst movie. Dog movie, and we said that K9 was the best movie because it is. It absolutely is.
It was a legitimately good movie.
Yes.
And I don't know why Turner and Hooch is considered like the quintessential dog cop movie.
Yeah.
When I really didn't enjoy it, but I loved K9.
I think the reason why Turner and Hooch is more remembered is because it's more generic. I think that K9 had more personality to it. I think like it had comedic writing and it was really funny, but it also had a lot of adult themes. And so I think it wasn't as easily digestible
maybe it didn't find its audience.
Yeah.
Because people was like, oh, dog? That's gotta be a kid's movie.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, like, I think that's what ended up happening is they realized that, oh, kids are gonna want to see these. That's how come we discussed before there was a de-evolution of the dog movies.
It is interesting when talking about the whole K9, Turner and Hooch like together specifically because they did come out only within 3 months of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So like they were in development at the same time. Like you can't really say that, oh, the Turner and Hooch made changes because of how K9, that it was just like a weird coincidence. And it is what it is. K9 came first. And in my opinion, it is a better movie. It's more likable. But I do think that Turner and Hooch is just more easily digestible for like normal audiences. The movie focuses primarily on like Tom Hanks and a dog getting into shenanigans. That's kind of just like that's what it focuses on, and that's what people remember. Whereas K9, like if you're just viewing it without really listening to what they're saying, I could see it being more forgettable.
I love the rental car scene, and I will not forget that.
No, I think that's absolutely fucking hysterical.
Yeah.
Like, and the way that he's in that warehouse and like he gets up on the fucking what is that machine that like lifts him up into the air?
Like a scissor lift?
Yeah, something like that. He like gets up on this lift and he's like, now listen to me. And like while he's giving the speech, he's like going up and down and like he's just dicking around. And like all these people are just standing around listening to him and like, and then the dog just fucks up every single person in like one fell swoop.
The bar fight, yeah.
Yes.
The bar fight was so good.
Yeah,
oh
like
my
Jerry
God.
Lee smashes a pool ball with his teeth.
He
like
starts pouring himself a drink. Like, it's the most badass fucking thing. It's like, I'm not fucking around.
Yeah, it's just so good because, like, he's such a fucking asshole. He doesn't do anything. Like, the dog does everything. The dog just fucks shit up.
He brings the muscle in.
Yeah.
And it's like, Jerry, do your thing.
Yeah.
It's like...
He just gets to sit back and do nothing. He gets to talk all the shit he wants.
That's what, yeah, he gets to do that, and he gets to, be this conniving, just, like, cynical fuck you, and I love it. The fact, like, when Jerry Lee had that bad guy by the balls, quite literally, and he's like, what are you gonna do? And then, like, Jerry Lee's, like, listening, and he can tell, because off the fluctuations of, Jim Belushi's voice, he's like, oh no, man, what are you gonna do? And then he, like, grips the balls a little bit harder, and he's like, I'll talk. So fucking good.
It's so funny. I love that movie. I love it. It is hands down, like, my favorite dog movie. I can say that confidently.
Yes.
Like, and I had never seen it before Dawgust.
Same.
I never thought to give it a chance. I thought it was gonna be garbage.
That's why we got it.
And you know what? K911 was garbage.
Yes.
Like, everything that came after K9 was pretty
We haven't
bad.
seen all the sequels.
No, I want to.
Yeah, just
but
check.
like, I mean, because K9PI came between those two, right?
We haven't seen the middle. We saw the beginning and the end.
Yeah, so for all we know, it's also good.
Yeah.
But
so
K9
we've been holding this in so much because we both loved this movie, and in every other dog movie we've watched this fucking month has been just awful.
Yeah.
And we watched K9 at the very beginning, so it's been like, who's gonna win? Dawgust.
It's K9.
It's K9. It's
like
fucking K9.
Such a good movie.
Yeah.
Let's pop that in right now. Let's wrap this.
We gotta talk about what's the worst.
The worst
Yeah.
movie?
Who is the worst dog movie?
Oh my god.
I say, okay, movies you gotta watch are definitely, K9, Air Bud, because it's Air Bud.
It's a classic, whether you like it or not.
And even though My Magic Dog won, I would say you should still watch Daniel and the Super Dogs over it. It is a strangely compelling melodrama.
I will definitely recommend Daniel and the Super Dogs. I know that at the end of a lot of our episodes, we say, like, would you recommend people watch this? Yes or no? Yeah, I would. Yeah. I think it's really interesting.
It's an interesting movie, and it's actually a good time capsule of 2004 a bit.
100%.
But that's also why I like the Soccer Dog, because the soundtrack alone is like, oh man, I know exactly when this movie came out. So Soccer Dog also is not bad. We watched Soccer Dog and we didn't hate it when we watched it.
No,
so.
There's nothing really hateable about it. It's just it hits all of the beats of a sports dog movie.
It's just not as good as the original Air Bud.
Yeah,
I would say it's better than the Air Bud sequels.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Soccer Dog is better than the Air Bud sequels.
Yeah. Definitely. But it's still not. I mean, that's not
the original Air
Bud.
Bud. Yeah. So.
Yeah, the original Air Bud is like, so like the scenes in Air Bud when he's actually playing basketball, I really liked it.
Yeah.
I really liked watching
I like his
the
little
basketball
dog
scenes.
shoes.
Yes, but like that's only like 15% of the whole movie.
That's literally about 15 minutes.
And so it's like, yeah, overall, I can't say that it's like a great or enjoyable movie.
It's not.
Because it's like those little like nuggets of gold don't really make up for everything else.
So the worst dog, we still haven't got to like what we just talked about a bunch of good ones. So
I want to say that like My Magic Dog is the worst in terms of like effects and stuff. Like,
but that's what makes it so charming.
Yeah, it's really corny. I wouldn't be surprised if it had like the lowest budget out of all of them.
I want to say the worst might be Top Dog.
Yeah.
Or no. Soccer Dog World European Cup. I always say World Cup because that's what it's. That's the World Cup.
I was gonna say that. I was gonna suggest that as the worst
because it's like almost a rehash of the first movie with all the charm removed.
Yeah, because at least
it's a different dog.
Yeah, and at least with the Air Bud sequels, they were playing a different sport, so it was kind of like switching it up.
Mhm.
Whereas the Soccer Dog movies, they're both playing soccer. They're both about soccer. It's just like one is like the volume's turned up a little, you know, like, oh,
Yeah.
it's the European Cup this time.
And it's a different family, and it's just not nearly as memorable. I don't remember a killer ska soundtrack, so
Yeah.
you know,
I don't remember really anything about it at all.
I remember,
more
like-
about World Pop.
I remember the Irish accents,
Yeah.
and that's it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I won't say European Cup.
But we're also forgetting K911. I mean, that movie, we couldn't even make it through that one. It was so bad. We could get through Top Dog.
We got through Top Dog.
We got through it.
We got through, yeah. So K911 is pretty bad, but I still want to say like Soccer Dog World European Cup. Soccer Dog European Cup is the worst because it's so literally forgettable.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's like a technically bad film. Like, there's nothing about it that's like reprehensible. It's just so fucking like middle of the road, phoned in, forgettable. That just kind of is like, what motivation do I have to ever want to watch that again?
Right.
Nothing. I would give K911 another shot. I would watch it just to, like, you know, try to give it the benefit of the doubt. Maybe in like a K9 marathon, but like European Cup, nah,
Yeah.
that's a big meh. So that is Dawgust.
That is Dawgust. That just about wraps up Dawgust. We got a winner. We got a loser. We got all kinds of in between.
Yes, and I am happy to say that starting next week, we will be reviewing other movies from our collection that don't have to do with dogs. I'm so excited. I want to thank you all for taking this journey with us and exploring dog movies together. For what it's worth, I had a great time, and I'm really excited to
Not watch dog
not
movies.
watch dog movies anymore.
Yeah. Except
You know that, like, whatever the next movie is that we watch that has a dog in it, like, we're gonna be so triggered.
quite possibly.
Yeah, that does it for this episode. That does it for this month. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts about dog movies.
We still have stickers available, but we also have launched a Discord. So go ahead and follow the link on our social media to join our Discord so we can talk about movies and tons of other things. We mostly don't talk about movies in there. We just talk about anything.
Yeah.
So come join us. It's fun. I'm in there all the fucking time.
Yes. And also, don't forget to visit our website, VHSaturday.com, and you can join our mailing list to get updates straight to your inbox anytime we upload a new episode. So again, thank you so much. We will see you next week, but until then, remember,
Be kind, rewind.